friends, welcome and good morning. It's great to see everybody here, and it's harder to see everybody here when I'm using Restream, but it does get to more platforms. So good morning to those of you who are on our typical platform of YouTube. Welcome to you. We don't know how long that will continue to be as it is, but great to see you here in any event. Oh dear, it looks like, oh dear. Looks like YouTube didn't make it to the stream. Don't know why that is. Holy cow. Let's see if I can, what I need to do about this. Okay, I'm trying to get the folks from from YouTube over to Rockfin. This is free on... Let's see here. It's free on Rockfin today, so let me see if I can come back over here. Put it here. There's that. Hopefully we can get them over here. Sorry, folks. I set it up the same way I did yesterday, and for some reason it didn't seem to launch. It does seem like... oh, you are on YouTube. Okay, Ronald, you're on YouTube, and it says it's going live? Okay. Never mind then. I have a link up, and it shows that it's not... there. So, okay. Well, never mind then. Glad that you're here. All right. Perfect. Sweet. Oh, crisis averted. I don't know why that happened. It's, I have several tabs open here, so I'm trying to monitor different channels. But welcome. Welcome, everybody. Great to see you. Love and the Light, Ronald Lee, Monk Monster Boy, Dragon, Lokta. How do I say that? Dragon Lokta. My neighbor John, and let's see, Chris. Great to see you as well, Captain Mojo. Hey, my friend, I haven't seen you for a minute. It's good to see you back again. Francis Sage, how are you? You guys have been terrific, and I'll point out today, let's see, I'll take that off, and I'll show, let's see, this. I think I want to show that. Today's Love Fest offering is for Super Sue Finelli. As you may know if you were here yesterday, So Sue Finelli, who you guys know, and if you don't, you should. But Sue is one of our most favored friends here. We love Sue, and she definitely... Oh, Rockfin is playing last week's Poppycock? It's not doing the live? It was the first one? It's so weird. So I'm kind of new to Restream, so we'll see if it's that. You can't find the Rockfin stream. It says it's live, but you can't find it. You know, let me see if perhaps I can find... this, because there was... Oh, maybe if I do this, maybe if I go to... this? Huh. I don't see it. That's so weird. I don't know. It's... I don't know. Anyway, hopefully it's on YouTube, so we'll try to get it all worked out. Hope there is. It's the first weekend, and it's hard to watch everything at once. But let's get back. Sue Finelli. Yeah, she's you guys know Sue. She's awesome. She's one of our tribe, and we've been friends ever since I think she joined our tribe. Rose 777 introduced us, and we've been close ever since. Anyway, if you know Sue, you also know that there's, stuff going on. Her family, like many people are of the normie variety, and it makes it more and more difficult to continue to be there. And so she's looking for new accommodations, and I hope that she's going to join us in those of us going to the South Kakalaki area. Again, we'll get back to that as well, because there's so many of these things in kind of a spider web, right? So ultimately, as you know, if you've been, again, here for any length of time, my plan is to leave Seattle, and the initial idea, just to create an intentional community of like-minded individuals where we try to exit the matrix and fend for ourselves and create our kind of own society. And so many people are interested in that, and so we're looking around for places to do it. I felt personally kind of nudged and led to go to the South Kakalaki region or in that neighborhood. Don't know why, other than it hit me. I checked in with Dad about it, seemed to get confirmation, checked in with some other folks. We all checked in with Dad, seemed to get confirmation. There didn't seem to be any other reason other than Dad was nudging me. Other people go, hey, but I don't get that. I'm like, yeah, okay, great. I mean, great. It seems to be like he's leading different people in different directions. So if you don't feel like South Kakalaki and hanging with us is where you feel led, absolutely go where you feel led. Listen closely and do that. So that's actually what you should do. So anyway, I'm saying I hope that but she's seems to be led that direction. I hope she winds up with us. But nevertheless, she's in a spot where she needs to get out from where she is. She's certainly willing to do work and keep moving on. I think that we have found initially some places for her to stay, at least there. And so kind of looking still for some places for her to stay on the way. But I think we have at least some temporary arrangements, some living arrangements. This is you're hearing it here first. I don't think I've even told her yet. But we're also continuing to take up a little bit of donation financially. And so if you wish to do that, you can certainly hit me up on all the standard donation sites, and you would find those at, let's see if I can come over here and make use of these goodies here, paypal.me/Great Baldini, or Venmo at the Great Baldini. And just note that it's for Sue Finelli, and we'll pass that along to her and help her out as she moves along into the next chapter of her life. And so that's something that I have been about since the beginning, is to support this community. That's one of the very reasons I began a channel in the first place, is so many people felt alone, isolated, and I wanted to just say, you are not alone. We are a tribe. We might be spread far and wide, but our hearts are in the same place. And this is certainly no more evident than when Karen B does her magic and gets us together I know the troll's going to go crazy. She's a witch, I told you. When she sets up the arrangements for us to get together for Solar Return and Flattoberfest. And by the way, she's made the announcement, Flattoberfest coming up again. Great new venue. It's going to be awesome. So check out Flat Earth Festivals for that information because you don't want to miss out. It just gets better every time. 2 full days this time. So you get 1 day of the conference type stuff and then 1 day of the performance type stuff. It's just awesome. I can't even express what it's like to be in the presence of so many people who are so awesome, and you just don't want to miss it. So there you go. And so there you have, let's see, connection for Sue Finelli. I'll repeat it again before we leave. If you want to get the opportunity, please do. God loves a cheerful giver, and it's a good thing I have found throughout my life. When I was younger, I thought that like many people do, that, the whole, it's better to give than to receive. It was kind of a way to manipulate people, right? To divide you with your belongings. And what I've discovered over time is that I was a fool. And there is so much more joy in giving, especially to those who cannot in any way repay you. It's simply heartbreakingly beautiful, and I would never get enough of it. I'm addicted to it now, to be able to help people who are in need. There's nothing like it, and I want more of it. And there's a never-ending line of people in need. So, job security, right? Okay, let's begin. Ancient wisdom for a modern world. If you're unfamiliar with the premise, as early on I began this thing where people were asked, hey, what translation of the Bible should I use if I want to read it? Or where should I begin as far as translations go? I recommend getting several. If you want a physical Bible, there's a few different things to choose from. I would probably say get an interlinear Bible. That gives you 4 translations in one physical Bible. You can compare side by side. Bible.com, or YouVersion is the app. You can get that for free, and it has 80-some translations in English, some of them with voiceovers that you can listen to. It's a great way to catch up while you're driving, that sort of thing. But it gives you an opportunity to check the various things, even some of them with Strong's Concordance, which are numbers that are ascribed to various words in Greek and Hebrew. And you can see where those words appear and how they're translated each time. You soon learn that they're doing the best they can, many of them, to give you a sense of context, because idioms and translation, especially translations that cost epochs of time. We don't know how long, but certainly when the culture changes so dramatically, things and idioms that you would say, like, "Oi, my dogs are barking," right, have nothing to do with dogs or sound. It means your feet hurt. Trying to translate that into a different time and place and language is often challenging, obviously, especially when different cultures have sometimes many words for a subtle thing and can't express something else. And so it's difficult sometimes to get these ideas across. So people do, I think some of them, a great job of trying. Some of them do a great job of trying to manipulate you. In other words, I've seen numerous translations that are there for the express purpose to put forward a certain kind of philosophy or religious context. They're trying to shake some dogma, either loose. They're trying to get rid of some idea that seems to be there in the original scripture, or they're trying to introduce some new idea that doesn't belong there. Beware of those. The way you'll know, frankly, over time, is discernment, and discernment is much needed, as you know. And so my advice to people in terms of where to start is a great place to go, especially if you have doubts or questions about the veracity, the value of Scripture, is to go to Proverbs. Proverbs is kind of in the middle of the Bible, not exactly in the middle. Psalms 174, I think, is like right in the middle, but Psalm 124, I think, rather, is somewhere right in the middle. But right next to it, right after Psalms, is Proverbs. And 31 chapters. There are 31 days in a month. Illuminati, thank you. That's very kind. And encoded as well. So Illuminati confirmed. Illuma, very, very naughty. And so Proverbs, chock full of wisdom. Just observations about the state of man and the way people are. And admonitions for young people to go through their life. Good stuff, really, if you ask me. And so 31 chapters, 31 days in a month, read one chapter each day. Do that for 3 months and let it soak in. See if it doesn't affect and change your life in a positive way. Full money back guarantee, I promise. And so with that being said, what I do here each Sunday morning, I go to the chapter that is appropriate for the day. Today would be the 30th, so go to the 30th chapter, read that. However, being that this, I think, is the third time it's landed here, I'm going to mix it up a bit. Often I will go to the Psalms or add something like that. Today, I'm going to go to someplace different, and I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to go to the book of James. James is just before the end. There's the book of James, John 1, 2, 3. This is not the Gospel of John, but the letters of John, John 1, 2, and 3. Jude, which is a very short book, and then Revelation, which is the last chapter of the Bible, the one that many people are familiar with for a variety of reasons. James was what we understand is the half-brother of Jesus. And you could think that that would give him some insight either way, either into saying that Jesus was a fraud or that he was real. You know, that buffer thing, I see that, so I'll pause for a moment here. I noticed this in yesterday's stream. It's the first time I'm using Restream. It seems to be associated with Restream itself. Everything else is seems to be going pretty well. I've got consistent data chugging along. Frame rates are solid. What I'm outputting is good, and when it goes to Restream, that seems to be the holdup. It seems to chug there a little bit. So thanks for telling me it's back. We can continue now. Sorry about that. I don't know how to address it because the internet connection is solid. Certainly the platform, the processor is solid. I am sending to a variety of platforms, but that doesn't seem to be the thing. But I don't know how to tell you. I don't know how to address it other than just dealing with the Restream people or trying to find another platform with which to do it. So now I know it's chugged twice in 2 days. I noticed in the playback, I don't usually listen to streams, but I do often listen to the noodles, and I noticed it missed about half of them yesterday because it lagged so hard. So I noticed that in the recording. So we'll see. Perhaps Restream is not for me. In any case, I very much appreciate you guys being right on top of it. And we will begin now. I want to share with you the book of James. So again, there is so much here. I have often said that if I could just do the first chapter of James, the first half a chapter of the first chapter of James, if I could do that, I would consider myself doing pretty well in following the way. It's a lot here. So I'm going to, what I'm going to do is read with, I'm going to pause at points and just kind of add a few things or give context. In a couple of places, just the way that it's presented, there's a couple of thoughts that seem to be interspersed or interjected, like the beginning of an idea, and then it picks up the last idea, and then it goes to that idea again, and then picks up there. It's almost as if a page was missing or out of place. And so I'm just going to just put it in the order that it ought to be. Keep the thoughts together. Don't get too wigged about it. I'm not trying to rewrite it. I'm just trying to offer some context and some understanding of what's happening here. But the principles, I think, remain valid, and I hope that they are as meaningful to you as they are to me. So here we go. This is the book of James, and this is I'm going to read today from the Common English Bible. It's one of the translations that you can find at Bible.com or the YouVersion app. Not plugging for them. I get no money. It's just one that I've used for more than a decade. Brothers and sisters, think of the various tests you encounter as occasions for joy. I think it would be an understatement to say, as we've said over the last couple of days, beginning with Ceiling Fan Man on Friday and myself yesterday, the number of people who are being accosted from all sides. It seems as if our community is under attack from every direction, and perhaps no more so than from within. The division is palpable. We are being attacked. You know that the testing of your faith produces endurance. So let this endurance complete its work so that you might be fully mature, complete, and lacking nothing. But anyone who needs wisdom should ask God, whose very nature is to give to everybody without hesitation, no second thoughts, and without keeping score. Obviously, that's one I quote frequently. If anyone lacks wisdom, let him ask. And God who gives generously, without hesitation. Wisdom will certainly be given to those who ask. But whoever asks shouldn't hesitate. They should ask in faith without doubting. Whoever doubts is like the surf of the sea, tossed and turned by the wind. People like that should never imagine that they could receive anything from God. They're double-minded and they're unstable in all their ways. Good morning, David Wright. Great to see you, my friend. Brothers and sisters who are poor should find satisfaction in their exalted status. And those who are wealthy should find satisfaction in their low status, because they will die off like wildflowers. You see, the sun rises with its scorching heat, and it dries up the grass, so that its flowers fall and its beauty is lost. Just like that, in the midst of their daily lives, the wealthy will waste away. But those who stand firm during testing will be blessed. They're tried and true. They receive the life God has promised to those who love Him as their reward. Man, what a great promise that is. And it's true. Beauty fades. Money can be stolen, taken from you. But character and relationship, community, that cannot be taken from you. No one who's tested should say, well, God's tempting me. That's because God is not tempted by any form of evil, nor will He tempt anybody. Everyone's tempted by their own cravings. They're lured away, and they get enticed by them. And once those cravings conceive, they give birth to sin. And when sin grows up, it gives birth to death. Don't be misled, brothers and sisters. Every gift, every perfect gift, comes from above. These gifts come down from the Father, the Creator of the heavenly lights, in whose character there is no change at all. He chose to give us birth by His true word, and here is the result. We're like the first crop from the harvest of everything He's created. Know this, dear brothers and sisters, that you should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to grow angry. It's because an angry person won't produce God's righteousness. So, with humility, set aside all moral filth and the growth of wickedness, and welcome the word that was the Logos that was planted deep inside you, the very Logos that is able to save you. But you must be doers of the word and not just hearers who mislead themselves. Those who hear but don't do the word are like those who look at their face in a mirror. They look at themselves and then walk away and immediately forget what they look like. But those who study the perfect law, the law of freedom, and continue to do it, they don't listen and then forget, but they put it into practice in their lives, and they'll be blessed in whatever they do. I once did a search, a really deep word search here into the original Greek that this came from. And it is amazing, the context and the words he chose to use there. He says, you must be doers of the word. And in that, he says actors. He uses a word that implies like actors, right? So like you're performing. You must act this out. It must be part of your life, right? And not just people who hear it, right? And then are fakes. They're a fraud. The act is a front. And this is the language that they're using. And they say, don't just hear the word, but put it into practice. The language that they use there is amazing. It says, don't just hear the word, but let it come deep down inside you. And then when it comes back out, your life is living poetry before God. Isn't that beautiful? I don't know why it doesn't come out that way in English. But the way that it comes out in Greek is the language they use implies that your life is like a sonnet, right? That when the Logos, the word of truth gets into you and you absorb it, that when it comes back out and expresses itself in your life, that it comes back out as poetry. I love that. If those who claim devotion to God can't control what they say, they mislead themselves. Their devotion is worthless. True devotion, the kind that's pure and faultless before God the Father, is this: to care for orphans and widows in their difficulties and to keep the world from contaminating us. It's interesting, this word devotion is often translated as religion. It says this is the kind of religion that God likes. If you want to be religious, this is the way to do it. Care for orphans and widows in their distress. And this is exactly, again, the nudging that I get in order to take care of those within our community. This is why I do this, do this thing for Sue and for others, to take care of people, to take care of those in our community, because they're beautiful. The second chapter. Brothers and sisters, when you show favoritism, then you deny the faithfulness of Jesus. He's been resurrected in glory. Imagine two people coming into your meeting, right? One has a gold ring and fine clothes, and the other is poor and dressed in filthy rags. Suppose that you were to take the special notice of the one wearing the fine clothes and say, hey, here's a great seat. Why don't you sit here? But to the poor person, you say, hey, why don't you stand over there? Or hey, sit at the back. Wouldn't you have shown favoritism among yourselves and become evil-minded judges? Listen, brothers and sisters, didn't God choose those who are poor by worldly standards to be rich in terms of faith? Didn't he choose the poor as heirs of the kingdom he promised to those who love him? But you will dishonor the poor. Don't the wealthy make life difficult for you? Aren't they the ones who drag you into court? Aren't they the ones who insult the good name spoken over you at your baptism? You do well when you really fulfill the royal law found in Scripture. Love your neighbor as yourself. But when you show favoritism, you're committing a sin. And by that same law, you're exposed as a lawbreaker. Anybody who tries to keep all of the law but fails at one point is guilty of failing to keep all of it. The one who said don't commit adultery also said don't commit murder. So, If you don't commit adultery, but you do commit murder, you're still a lawbreaker. So in every way then, speak and act as people who will be judged by the law of freedom. There will be no mercy and judgment for anyone who hasn't shown mercy. Mercy overrules judgment. I do find it rather interesting that the ones who claim grace are often the ones who are the most stingy with it. Brothers and sisters, what good is it if people say they have faith but do nothing to show it? Claiming to have faith can't save anyone, can it? Imagine someone who is naked and doesn't have enough food to eat. And so if you say, go in peace, stay warm, have a nice meal, what good is it if you don't actually give them what they need, right? And this is what I'm saying about, that's me, Baldini, right? That this is what I'm saying about taking care of those in our community. We can talk a good game and say, we know all this stuff, we're wise, right? We have good discernment. We know that they've lied to us about our history. We know that we are legitimate, sovereign, natural men and not bound by the laws of the evil cabal. We know the nature and the shape of our world and who we are. Of what value is that if then someone of your brother and sister comes to you in need? And you say, well, go learn that the earth is flat. And then, then it'll all make sense. No, we take care of them. It's schmaltzy. It's an old schmaltzy saying, no one cares how much you know till they know how much you care, but there is some truth in it. So what good is it if you don't actually give them what they need? In the same way, faith is dead when it doesn't result in faithful activity. You might claim, well, you have faith, I have action, but how can I see your faith apart from your actions? Instead, I'll show you my faith by putting it into practice. It's good that you believe God. Even the demons believe, and they tremble with fear. Are you so slow? Do you need to be shown that faith without actions has no value at all? What about Abraham, our father? Wasn't he shown to be righteous through his actions when he offered his son Isaac on the altar? You see, his faith was at work along with his actions. In fact, his faith was made complete by his faithful actions. So the scripture was fulfilled. It said Abraham believed God, and God regarded that as righteousness. What's more, Abraham was called God's friend. You see, that's my goal in life entirely. If there is anything that I desire in this life, it is not money, power, fame, fortune. It is simply to be a friend of my Creator and to know Him well before the race is run. When I come to the end, it is what I want, to be able to meet Him with open arms and have that not be my first introduction. Chapter 3, not many of you should become teachers, because we know that teachers will be judged more strictly. We all make mistakes often, but those who don't make mistakes with their words have reached full maturity. Like a bridled horse, they can control themselves entirely. When we bridle horses and put bits in their mouth to lead them whatever we want, we can control their whole bodies. I think this is immensely appropriate at this point. That there is something about the modern situation with social media and all that entails. There was a moment at the Solar Return when I was standing outside talking to some folks, and one of them somebody came up and asked, who I was, and they found out I was Baldini, and they was like, I listened to you. And the person who was with them, really, I guess, just a friend and not really familiar with the community, and which is great. I love that. And they said, are you an internet personality? And I just hung my head in shame, and I thought, oh, my wife would just, she'll never let me hear the end of it. Has it come to this? An internet personality. But there are those who consider that as somehow a lofty or elevated position in some way. That because we have a broader reach, I suppose, that there's something more lofty about that. And there are those also who do it, who then seem to believe that they are accountable to no one. Because they are the person who brings information, and they can do no wrong, and that anyone who disagrees with them must in fact be a shill, a liar, or stupid. It's just people, right? I'm not picking on anybody in particular. Don't get too excited. It's a thing. You've seen it. And this goes hand in hand with some other passages that and things that I've mentioned before that talk about we're all different, right? And so we have different gifts, different ways to serve within the community. Not everyone really, frankly, should be making content. Not everybody's good at it, right? And so, but I adjure everyone to get to know the material, because if you don't know for yourself what you believe. Hey, Mick, great to see you. But so get to know the material for yourself so that you can always be ready with an answer. Sure, great. But not everybody is meant even to make videos. But then, again, everyone has different things. Everybody needs to be doing the thing that they're good at, right? Scooter, for example, he does great with serving the community, especially at events, making the T-shirts. I mean, he's like... I can't even tell you what kind of, the guy's everywhere. He's a wizard, right? He's just everywhere. Dr. Law, right, that does his stuff. Karen, that does what she does, right? Everybody does the thing that they need to be doing, and that's how it all works. And so there are people, if everybody does the thing that they need to be doing, the whole thing works well. And so don't ever feel like there's a lower position than another, or that, I'm not important because I don't make content, I don't have a channel. We can't do it without you. I mean, someone who thinks they're a leader and there's nobody following them, they're just out for a walk. So, if I'm making content and nobody's listening to it, then what's the point? And I told my wife last night, I got a great email overnight from someone, and there's almost nothing that I enjoy more than to hear of people who it's helped them. This channel and its content has been of value and benefit to them. It's so deeply touching to me, and I am so thankful to Dad, because it really is. It's about him and you, and just for me, it's simply as best I can to be an intermediary of not to get in the way, but to help, point the way if I can, share my experience, provide a place that we can all get together and experience Dad's presence together. But there's nothing more valued to me than the nature of these relationships, and to hear a good report. I also even like to hear when people are struggling, because it gives me an opportunity to pray for them and to lift them up in prayer and to come before Dad and say, thank you for your help. In the last 2 weeks, I have seen such growth from some friends of mine. Hope I don't embarrass anybody, but I think I have permission. Kevlar has been doing great. Just great to see it. And when you see people get excited and have a moment, right? If it doesn't set you on fire, your wood's wet, right? It's encouraging, even in the midst of all the struggles that we're having now. And it seems, interestingly, over this last year to be something of that mixed bag. Is there's balance. As crappy as things get, it's still exciting to see it happen, to see us on the verge on the very precipice. Of something completely unprecedented. Picking up again, James 3, consider ships. They're so large that strong winds are needed to drive them, but pilots direct their ships wherever they want with a little rudder. In the same way, even though the tongue is a small part of the body, it boasts wildly. Think about this. A small flame can set a whole forest on fire. The tongue is a small flame of fire, but a world of evil is at work in us. It can contaminate our entire lives. Because of it, the circle of life is set on fire. The tongue itself is set on fire by the flames of hell. People can tame and already have tamed every kind of animal, bird, reptile, and fish. No one can tame the tongue. It's a restless evil full of deadly poison. And with it, we both bless the Lord and curse human beings made in God's likeness. Blessing and cursing from the same mouth. Brothers and sisters, it really shouldn't be like this. Both fresh water and salt water, they don't come from the same spring, do they? Brothers and sisters, can a fig tree produce olives? Can a grapevine produce figs? Of course not. And fresh water doesn't flow from a saltwater spring either. I don't think I need to explain that anymore. Be careful what you say. Be thoughtful, be considerate, be higher-minded. The power of life and death is in the tongue. We are told that all of creation was spoken or perhaps even sung into existence. Certainly the manifesting of the will is an observable fact, and nothing makes it more powerful than speaking it into existence, giving it life. You can speak life or death into a situation. I will tell you from personal experience, both work, but both have karmic implications. Verse 13, are any of you wise and understanding? Show that your actions are good with a humble lifestyle that comes from wisdom. But if you have bitter jealousy, selfish ambition in your heart, stop bragging and living in ways that deny the truth. That's not the wisdom that comes from above. That's from earth. It's natural. Worse, it's even demonic. Wherever there's jealousy, selfish ambition, where there's disorder, and everything that's evil, what of the wisdom from above? It's pure, peaceful, gentle, obedient, filled with mercy and good actions, fair and genuine. Those who make peace sow the seeds of justice in their peaceful acts. Chapter 4. What is the source of conflict among you? What's the source of your disputes? Don't they come from your cravings that are at war in your own lives? Interjection. Haven't I told you this before? Right? That pain comes from unfulfilled desire. You want something and you can't have it. And so you struggle. You do anything to get it, including harming others. Verse 2, you long for something you don't have, so you'll commit murder. You're jealous for something you can't get, so you struggle and fight. You don't have because you don't ask. And you ask and you don't have because you ask with evil intentions, because you'll waste it on your own cravings. Unfaithful people, don't you know that friendship with the world, by definition, means hostility toward God? So whoever wants to be the world's friend becomes God's enemy. Or do you suppose that Scripture is meaningless? Doesn't God long for our faithfulness in the life He's given to us? But He gives us more grace. That's why it says, God stands against the proud, but favors the humble. So submit to God. Resist the devil, and he will run away from you. Come near to God, and He will come near to you. I'd like to read that again. James 4, verse 7. Submit to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Come near to God, and he will come near to you. Wash your hands. Purify your hearts. Cry out in sorrow. Mourn and weep. Let your laughter become mourning, and your joy become sadness. Humble yourself before God, and he will lift you up. Brothers and sisters, don't say bad things about each other. Whoever insults or criticizes a brother or sister insults and criticizes the law. If you find fault with the law, you're not a doer of the law, but a judge over it. There's only one lawgiver and one judge, and he's able to save and destroy. But you who judge your neighbor, who are you? Pay attention, especially those of you who say, today or tomorrow we're going to go do such and such. We'll go to this town and we'll stay there for a year, buy and sell and make a profit. You don't really know about tomorrow, do you? What is your life? You're but a mist that appears for a short while before it vanishes. Instead, here's what you ought to say. If God wills, we'll live and we'll do this or that. But now you boast and brag, and all such boasting is evil. And it's a sin when someone knows the right thing to do and doesn't do it. Brothers and sisters, be patient as you wait for the coming of God. Consider the farmer who waits patiently for the coming of rain in the fall and the spring, looking forward to the precious fruit of the earth. You then must also wait patiently, strengthening your resolve, because the coming of God is near. Don't complain about each other, brothers and sisters, so that you won't be judged. Look, the judge is standing at the door. Brothers and sisters, take the prophets who spoke in the name of the Lord as an example of patient resolve and steadfastness. Look at how we honor those who have practiced endurance. You heard of the endurance of Job. Ceiling fan man talks about it all the time. And you've seen what the Lord has accomplished, for the Lord is full of compassion and mercy. Finally, and most important, don't make any solemn pledge. Don't take oaths either by heaven or earth or by anything else. Instead, just a simple yes or no will do. If you're under suffering, you should pray. If you're happy, sing. If you're sick, call for elders of the church, and the elders should pray over them, anointing them with oil in the name of the Lord. Pray, and prayer that comes from the faith will heal the sick, for the Lord will restore them to health. And if they've sinned, they'll be forgiven. For this reason, confess your sins to each other and pray for each other so that you may be healed. The prayer of a righteous person is powerful in what it can achieve. Elijah was a person just like us, but when he earnestly prayed that it wouldn't rain, no rain fell for 3.5 years. And then he prayed again, and God sent rain, and the earth produced its fruit. Brothers and sisters, if any of you wander from the truth and someone turns back the wanderer, recognize that whoever brings that person back from the wrong path will save them from death and thus bring about the forgiveness of many sins. And that, friends, brothers and sisters, is the entirety of James. 5 chapters of pure, amazing wisdom and admonition, instructions on how to follow the way. Again, you can find it toward the end of the Bible, just a few chapters before Revelation, the book of James. I want to thank you again for joining me this morning. It's always a pleasure to spend time with you. Not once have I done this and thought, oh, that sucked. If you do have specific prayers or requests, feel free to send them to me. unintended.consequences3@gmail.com. You can also find contact information in the show notes. I think there's other people you can reach out to as well. David Reif usually puts his email up in the chat. There's a few others that also you can talk to in our community. If you if you feel like you're alone, reach out. If you feel joy, share it with others. If you feel depressed, reach out to someone else and see if you can help them. Often refocusing your attention will help you take your eyes off your own situation. And then coming back, you can see it with a clearer view. Be good to one another. Be compassionate even to those who are angry and mean toward you. Hurt people, hurt people. There you go, Billington. Thank you. Show love to one another. Even and especially those, again, who are hateful to you. It's certainly easier to share love with those who are kind to you. And it's more important to show the love to those who are not. Today's love offering is for Super Sue Finelli. Looking for a new place, and we're going to try to get her across the country. So if you can, donate to that. Make sure and let me know if it's PayPal or Venmo or however you choose to do it. Make sure and let me know it is for that purpose. If not, it'll just kind of go into the kitty, and then that'll probably end up, going to her anyway. But it's helpful when you make donations. If you want it to go specific to something, just let me know. Otherwise, it kind of goes into a kitty, and then again, I just save that up, and when somebody needs it, I just pass it along and then ask like this. So that's kind of how it works. One day, I'm sure I'll get caught with my pants down, and no one will contribute, and I'll be like, oh. But it hasn't happened so far. So we got that going, which is nice. You know what? I love you guys too. I really do. You have amazed me with just the quality of people that you are. When I've started meeting people, I have been simply stunned at how not just cool, but not just bright, amazing quality people. I feel bad sometimes when I name people because I feel like I'm dissing people that I don't name, but just a few that come to mind: Daryl Davis, Nemo, Melanie Moran, Love in the Light, Waters Above, Ronald Lee, Lungs, and Mama. Fuck, man, there's so many of you. David, Reif, and so many, Billingtano, right? James in Germany. So many of you have just been of such an encouragement to me. There are days that I have. It's really a challenge, right? There are times, and I'm sure you guess, we don't talk much about it, but there are buttholes out there. People get all butthurt, and you're evil, and you got a tail, and you're sending people to hell. How? Reading scripture? I don't understand. Thank you, Liz. You're awesome. I love you, Liz. And I love. I got to tell you, one of the things, and also I want to just promote some other stuff too. Ms. Mays is doing a podcast regularly now. Also, Sparks, Jenny Sparks, check that out. Shaking Hands with Strangers. I think they're on their third or fourth episode now. David Leonard has been one of their guests. It's really great. They're doing great work right off the bat. So there's that. Oh, also keep in mind and keep in your thoughts and prayers. And if you want to donate to him, you can as well. Just mark it for that. Bunny. So Russell Babbitt Music, and as far as I can tell, channel is moving. Tuesday of this week, just a couple of days, he's heading out toward, I think, was it Michigan? And getting together with some folks, getting together with Lee, and off on a new adventure. So I'm wishing good luck to him, safe travels, love for him, and there you go. Oh, I would be remiss, I think, if I didn't mention this also. So give me a moment. I was asked to give you a heads up if I'm going to do this, so stand by. You're going to have some healing chimes in 3, 2, 1. All righty. So, yes, I would be remiss if I did not make this comment as well. So earlier, You guys mentioned, and we saw it yesterday, that there was some breaking up of the channel. The stream was having trouble. Um, and likely as a result, the problem being I'm using Restream to get this to multiple channels. The reason I'm going on multiple channels is I'm kind of testing each one to see how it goes, because ultimately I think we're going to have to leave YouTube. It seems that the handwriting is on the wall. They gave me another warning this week, pulled down another video. Once you get in their crosshairs, it's really tough to get out. And so I don't know how long we'll last here. It's unfortunate, because it's certainly easy to meet in one place, and YouTube obviously has the highest amount of traffic of any platform. However, we don't have the issue that we're necessarily trying to reach new people. I'm always glad to have new people, and I welcome them with open arms. It's not a closed society here. But my role and my job and my purpose and my desire is not really to spread the word and tell more people about the stuff that we know. It's to support the people who, once they have had that moment of realization, go, oh, holy shit, what now? Right? That's when they come to me. That's my hope anyway. I can support them and encourage them and be a cheerleader and introduce them to others in the community who can also support them, and hopefully get them hooked up with people who are local. We've seen that multiple times as well, including Finland. Right? We now got 4, 5, 6 guys getting together over there. Outstanding. So I want to, again, support those other channels. I hope that you do as well. But in terms of platforms, again, I'm broadcasting to a number of platforms to try it out. It's going to be some growing pains and the glitches. But what I want you to know is if suddenly you don't see me on YouTube, please come looking elsewhere. Right now, Rockfin has been very friendly to me. They do have some limitations, certainly. The app leaves a lot to be desired, no doubt, especially in the chat function. And this is something that I've spoken to them about specifically, because to me, one of the biggest aspects of it is the community. And so it needs to be community friendly, and so it needs to better support the chat features. And so we've talked about this, and I think they're going to make some moves in that direction. I think they understand where we're coming from, that I want to support them, but they need to support us, and that part of the reason we do what we do is the interaction within the community. So I'm also asking for direct messaging, that sort of stuff. Clearly, that's a lot more work, but these are the kind of things I want to kind of work with. So I would suggest for now, Rockfin, it's free to come to. There is premium content there, and certainly they want premium content. They want you to subscribe because that's how they make money. If you do subscribe, and a couple of you have already subscribed under me, right? So it's not really like a pyramid scheme or multi-level marketing, but we do get a bump if you say I came here because of Baldini. So notifications from Rockfin, yeah, it's tough because they're doing emails, and often it's after the fact, right? So that's unfortunate. What I try to do is to put stuff on. I send it to a buddy of mine who puts it up on eBay. Puts it up on Facebook, because I don't really go to Facebook very often. But try to put it up there. But keep in mind, and perhaps it would be helpful again, that most of my streams are regularly scheduled. So whatever it is for your local time zone, Saturday morning. This is all Pacific time. Saturday mornings at 9 a.m., Sunday mornings at 7, and Sunday evenings at 5. Typical stuff. And then right now, Poppycock is usually coming on Wednesday. It typically was Tuesday, Thursday. We'll make announcements on that. Absolutely, you'll hear it through the grapevine, and certainly between me and Rose, you'll hear where that's going to ultimately land and how it's going to work. So the times are going to be pretty consistent on that. But there are occasionally special things. But I am, again, trying to look at different things. When it comes to the Rockfin thing, they encourage and they want us to have some premium content. That means content that you have to have a subscription to see. There are many of us now in this community who are on Rockfin. The subscription is like $10 a month, and it's not per person, it's for everybody. So once you get that subscription, you have full access to all the content. And again, your support certainly helps us. I'm committed to doing at least some stuff free, and I've never monetized the Sunday streams because of the nature of the content, and I just don't feel right about making anything off relationship with Dad. I just encourage that it's all free, and I just, what church has become and what people have done to Dad is wrong. So I don't want to ever do that. I do monetize the unintended consequences streams just for the reason of making it where people can do super chats and support the channel so that eventually, if you want better content, because it takes time to put stuff together, then that helps support it. And I absolutely appreciate that. I've set up a Patreon. In fact, I set up a Patreon account before I even set up a YouTube account. Never have launched anything, probably will, to give you an opportunity to help. And again, I'm not twisting anybody's arm or saying, like some have, well, I can't do streams if you don't give me money. I'm not going to do that. That's not why I'm here. But your help not only is helpful to us and keeps things going, and certainly it will be necessary once we make the big jump, but I've also discovered, right, that people value what they invest in. It just makes it of more value, and it's also super encouraging when people show support. It helps me know that, again, it's of value to them. So that's all. I think. So the other thing I was just going to mention, and just keep a lookout for this, is that I think that will put an end to the idea of doing channel memberships or anything like that on YouTube. I'm going to kind of back out of it instead of invest more deeply in it. I think that will be well handled at Rockfin. I think we can do some of the things that we want to do in terms of talking about the poppy cult, right, without prying eyes and keeping those guys away. Just keep the knuckleheads away so we don't have any problems with those guys. I think we can do a good job with that. The other thing I'm considering doing is to specialize on different platforms. Consider doing a music-specific stream and doing some other streams specific to different topics. And I may use different platforms like Odyssey or Twitch for those things specifically. So we'll see about that, rather than doing the same content on all the channels, which I'm kind of doing now just to test and see how that works, versus I'm sure I'll land at kind of one or two spots to make sure that you know where to find us. You don't have to look all over. But for now, again, you can keep looking for us on YouTube, and I'm telling you very clearly that that relationship is tenuous at best. It is very likely going to, we'll see what happens. If that does, I may again find another way to get there, and we'll see what happens. If I just put like the Sunday content there and don't do anything controversial, we'll see what happens. But I'm telling you, it's the clock is ticking. And so I encourage you. Right now, Rockfin seems to be at least a place that we can get together. They're not censoring us. And again, if they address some of the stuff that we want to deal with in terms of the community, I think it'll be a good place to land. But we'll see. In any case, guys, have a great day. It's always a pleasure. Don't forget Sue Finelli, David Reif, Bunny. If you want to support any of those guys, you can do so. Drop it to me. I'll pay all the transfer fees. Not a problem. We'll send it to where it belongs, and we'll wrap it up with some musica, Radio Fiesta, something from the old days. And then we'll be back at 5 p.m. today. Hopefully I'll have some guests. We'll see how that goes. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I want to get into a topic that I've touched on a couple of times and want to revisit it. That's going to be 5 p.m. this evening, Pacific time. That's 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. So we'll wrap with this one. I'm going to drop, what am I going to do? I'm going to do this one. I think 1993 circa. And you've heard a couple of different versions of this one. This is the version where Baldini sings. So hope that doesn't bother you. Hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much again for coming. It's always a pleasure. And we'll talk to you again soon. Make sure to take care of each other. Take care of yourself. We'll see you again soon.
Day after day, in circular motion, we fall off the ends of the earth. Night after night, we cry into darkness, ending a day without worth. Year after year, we slip into numbness, reciting the lines we've rehearsed. Hold on to that feeling. keeps on ticking, but we act like